Welcome to the Weight Coaching Podcast. I'm Allie.
I'm Jeff. Woohoo! I'm still Jeff.
Are you still Jeff?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Sometimes I have a momentary lapse in
He
mentality,
doesn't always
but
know
what?
where he's at or
Where are
who
we?
he
This
is.
is so interesting. There's a mic in front of me. Oh, okay. Hey, what are we talking about today?
We're talking about seasons.
Seasons. Yes.
Gotta love them.
Yes.
What's
you
your
do.
favorite season?
My favorite season?
Yeah.
Honestly, like I enjoy summer, but like there's something about that first night of fall when it's crisp and cool and you're like, okay, it's like dry and like you just want to get a sweatshirt or a sweater on. Like I love that. So usually that's depending on where you live. I mean, that's generally October.
Okay.
How about you?
Just straight up summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It used to be fall, but
That's new to me. I didn't know
too
that.
depressing now
Why?
because it means winter's coming and I hate it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I
But we're
didn't
not
realize
actually
that.
talking about weather.
No, it's so funny. Let's talk about that because honestly, you dislike fall now. You've shifted to summer.
No, I didn't say I dislike
Oh,
fall.
it used to be fall, but now it isn't because of what's ahead of it. So you're not actually embracing the current season you're
true.
in.
I'm
You're
not.
disliking the season, anticipating the next season.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Let's actually talk about that
Let's spend
because
some time talking about that
that is
today.
what we want to talk about.
100%.
Embracing the season that you're in.
Now, not just like the 4 seasons of the year.
Clearly not. Not weather.
I mean, that's a good
You
analogy.
don't have to embrace winter.
No,
I'm never
wow,
going to tell you you
wow,
have to do
wow.
that.
But some people might love winter. So if that's you, feel free to embrace it.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
seasons of life, I think there are seasons, natural seasons of the year, not having to do with weather, but having to do with just rhythms.
Yeah,
Is that a good?
for sure.
Yeah. Right now, school just got out, I don't know, 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like 14 years ago. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 21 days of absolute hell. I'm surprised that we're still alive.
You're ridiculous.
What? I'm just saying. I love teachers, and kids should go all year round to school and live with their teachers. Just kidding. I love our children.
Oh my
I love your
gosh.
children.
Okay. So there's different seasons in life.
For sure.
They could be correlated to weather seasons. We're not going to do that. Honestly, I think sometimes we're not fully aware of the season we're in.
That's good.
And so it's really hard to be in that season and embrace it when we're not even really
Actually aware of what season we're in. Yeah.
right.
So
Oh,
I
go
would say
ahead.
this, like, I don't want to, we talked about not overly correlating it, but I think about this. We, for the longest time, lived in the Midwest, Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd always think about, obviously, spring is when a farmer is out tilling up the land, planting seeds.
Mm-hmm.
Summer's a bit of a hiatus. He's kind of cultivating and making sure that there's enough moisture in the crop. And then the fall comes, and fall's like full on harvest. Get it done. We got to make hay while we can, right? And then winter comes around. And winter is just kind of like a dormant season of rest.
Yeah.
And I always thought about this. If you were driving in Minnesota or Wisconsin, the Midwest, in the winter and saw a farmer out in the field trying to cultivate or dig up the land, he clearly is not aware of what he's doing. He's clearly not aware of the season because he's wrecking his equipment. And then when the season that he actually needs to use it rolls around, it's going to be all busted up. And he may have put the seed in the snow rather than the soil. Now he's out of seed as well. So
Well,
he's
and just
totally
colossal waste of energy, right?
colossal waste of, he shouldn't be a farmer.
So when we first moved to Utah, we started essentially 3 businesses, essentially within a 3 to 6 month period.
Yeah.
And we were working our butts off
Yeah, it's crazy.
and not seeing really any.
The fruits of our labor, if you will. Yeah.
And we were just pushing so hard. But the thing that was silly now, looking back at it, was not how hard we were working, because now I look back at it and we started understanding after a while, like we were in a sowing season,
Yeah.
right? Like a
Yeah.
planting season. And so that's a fair amount of work. Like you have to do that work. But we were feeling like such failures because we weren't seeing fruit.
We weren't harvesting.
We weren't harvesting. We were working so hard and we were like, what's wrong with us? Why are we such failures? We're looking at these other people who are in like a harvesting season in their journey. And we're like, what's wrong with us?
Yeah. Why are we such failures?
And it went deep, that feeling of failure, just kind of the depression And it was literally during the winter season. This is why I don't like winter at all. The gloom, the cold.
And I'll even say part of it in the comparison piece is that oftentimes, like, if you're not aware of your own season, you're for sure not aware of someone else's season. You just see, wow, they're
Yeah.
harvesting like crazy. You have no idea the years of planting because you never plant a tree and eat the fruit the same day. You plant and there's seasons and there's years of toil, years of work. Like there's seasons before you harvest.
Yeah.
And so I just think about that. Like that's why comparison literally is the thief of joy. You've maybe heard that before. I
Yeah.
think it's C.S. Lewis that said that. But it's crazy when you think about that. So don't compare your season to someone else. Their harvest and your sowing, it's just like it will to your, like what we're talking about, the season we were in, it was so depressing. It was so like, we are huge failures. This is the worst.
Yeah. So that would have served us much better if we were just more aware
If we had that
and like
perspective, yeah.
kind of reflecting on where we were at, what season we were in. Because I think we would have had a lot more grace for ourselves and just patience. Okay, yep, we're sowing, we're planting. We need to give it time to grow. And like something grows quite a bit longer than the point in which you see fruit, right? It's just a long process. And so that's our pain from the past and needing to learn from that. And now we're in a season where we're like, we need to rest. We've seen a lot more fruit. I got this just sense, and we talked about it not that long ago, like we could keep pushing really hard to keep just growing and seeing more fruit and just great. Finally, the pressure's off a little bit, but let's keep going, you know? But it's like we have worked so hard to get to this point. If we don't rest, I don't know that we're going to be able to get to the next point. We are going to completely burn out or begin ruining things.
100%. And I think like in our culture today, I heard someone use this phrase. I can't remember who it was. It was a podcast host, but he talked about the idea of like grind porn. This is the grind porn where it's just like, you just work harder. You just grind, like you're a machine, like you don't have emotions, like you don't wear down.
Like it's
you don't.
almost like its own addiction.
100%.
Yeah.
You're living on adrenaline and cortisol, all the things, all the time. It's the best, and you're
And
grinding.
it's never good enough. It's never enough.
Good enough.
It never will
enough.
be.
And that's where it's like, if you get into that, like that is a short and shallow life. Maybe you have a large bank account, but I promise you, you're not going to be large in relationships, large in self-awareness, large in maturity, large in overall life contentment. I see a lot of people that are addicted to the grind porn, and they might be like just go all the time. And relationally, they're bankrupt. Relationally, they don't have anyone to share it with.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is in that sowing season for us, it was completely lopsided. We were putting in so much more focus and energy into our businesses than we were our family, right? And you will have seasons where like things are lopsided.
There's harvest seasons where it's like the farmer's out for 3 weeks just collecting, making
Right.
hay, where he's not going to see the kids a lot. That should be a season, not a life sentence.
Not a lifetime. It is okay for a season.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people. Like we teach, discipline and routine and having just a really close pulse on your business and all these things. And that will all fall to the wayside once in a while. Right. And that's okay, because if you get too worried about missing a beat, then you're just putting way too much pressure on yourself. If there's an emergency happening at home, deal with that.
Yeah.
You'll come back to the business and it'll be okay, right?
Yep.
If we just kept like pushing hard and giving all of that energy and attention to the business forever, what would that do to our family? What would that do to our marriage? And I think that's why like so many business owners, they don't feel happy about their marriage relationship or their family life. And there doesn't seem to be a balance. And I think they're feeling like this perfect balance is probably not a real thing. And that's why seasons are so important, because it's like if the season requires a little too much effort and energy and focus being put on the business, it may require that. But it's gotta self-correct.
Yeah. It's
And
got to
if
come
you're
back.
not taking now a season for rest and for your family to be first, they should always be first. But just the craziness of life, we need to be realistic, right?
Yeah.
Too many business owners, especially, they think that rest is this fun little silly idea
it's
that
one
like
week on a- it's 1
sounds
week.
way nicer
Yeah.
than, no, it's not self-serving. It's not a week on a beach. It's not about having fun. It's actually giving life to your relationships and your family. And that's usually what rest represents,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I think it's so important to embrace the seasons of rest, like embracing, like we try to do like 1 day a week where we consider it like our Sabbath, where it's like that's a day where we're spending time together, we're making space for each other, whether it's us and the family. We have date night once a week where it's like it's disciplined to the degree. Sometimes it changes on the night depending on of the week, depending on our schedule. But that's something that we're modeling for our kids because it matters to us. We want to make sure that we're creating space. And I really think that's what rest is, because in our lives today, it seems like anytime there is a space, you automatically fill it. Whether it's work, whether you're going out with the boys, whether it's once you have kids, it's traveling sports. And you're like, if we have space, we're just going to fill it. And you're like, that actually doesn't lead to a full life. It leads to a full schedule. And you have to, don't mistake the two. Don't mistake just because you are very busy that you're actually being productive, that you're doing things that ultimately matter. You could spend, infinite amount of dollars in years, depending on the amount of kids you have, standing on the sideline of some sport that ultimately your kids may never do afterwards. And some of the lessons they learned doing that sport, they could have learned elsewhere that wasn't as time and financially as intensive. We could talk about that for years. But that's something where you have to make the choice. You have to be disciplined, saying no to the hustle porn, saying, I'm not just going to grind more. I'm not just going to go harder. I'm actually going to embrace this season of rest, because this is actually just like winter. It's meant to be a dormant season of rest, because you know what's coming after winter? The spring, the push. Get the ground ready, get the seeds ready, get the equipment ready, get everything ready, because we got to go, because we got to get the seed in the soil so that it will be there, so it can take the time to mature over the summer and be able to harvest it on time. So you just know if you're in a season of dormancy, embrace that season. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't do what you're not supposed to be doing. Take that time and rest.
Absolutely. I think it's good.
I think that's good.
Weight Coaching Podcast. We are the Wens.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.